The Rickey Smiley Morning Show.
It's the front page news.
It's what's trending now.
All right, y'all. So, listen, man, my girlfriend and I are constantly arguing about whether this is not from me, this is from somebody else, whether I should be able to discipline her kids. Now, we're not married, but we have been in a relationship for 4 years. She has 2 boys, ages 7 and 11. Now, the boys rarely see that. This is important. 2 things important. They've been together for 4 years. So the boys rarely see their biological father. So in my opinion, he's out of the equation. So I'm the main male role model in these boys' lives. And over the years, I've established a good relationship with them. So I think it's unfair to expect me to play daddy with everything else, except when it comes to discipline. They need a male figure to guide them and help shape them into strong men. And she should be happy that I'm willing to do that. But she said it's not the right time. So we want to know what you think about it. Should the boyfriend be allowed to discipline his girlfriend's kids? Hit us up at 866-9-RICKEY, 866-9-RICKEY. Real quick, Eva, you got, Mike. You had Marley. Yeah. Mike stepped up. Break it down.
Yeah, this definitely hits home for me. My husband and I met when my daughter was already 1 year old, and this is the only dad she has. It's the only dad she knows. And so there definitely came a point where he and I had to have a discussion. And, I think the father in this instance is spot on, because it's very hard to allow a man to play daddy in certain areas, but not in others. So which one is it? Either he's going to be there or he's not. But to kind of dictate when he can and can't step in, I think that is very confusing for the kids.
Hey,
and the
Eva,
boys need a stable man.
Hold on, okay, Eva, which is going to spin into another conversation that I've been arguing with our producer, Kim, that I really want to have a conversation about. Now, Crystal came in, Rock T, with your 2 daughters, Harmony and Lyric. And what was that like?
Yeah, that was a touchy situation, man, because at the end of the day, I had to make my mind up to decide, okay, if this is going to be the woman I'm going to spend the rest of my life with, then I need to figure out when is the proper time to introduce her to Lyric and Harmony. And I went back and forth for a while as far as when is the right time. And my mind was made up, though. As soon as I said, you know what, this is going to be my wife, this is going to be my soulmate, that's when I made the introduction and let my Lyric and Harmony know that this is going to be their new mommy. And this situation that we're talking about hits very home to me, because their biological mom was not in their lives at all. So, you got to. You can't. If since Crystal was going to be a strong staple in their lives every single day, I had to give them the opportunity to go ahead and start building that relationship the proper way.
I have to agree with both of y'all. Y'all are absolutely right. But, there's a lot of people, man, they just kind of feel some people feel different about it. Kay, what were you about to say?
No, I was just going to say that, I agree. If now is not the time for him to step in and play that role, then what is the time? 7 and 11 are crucial ages, especially for boys, to learn discipline and structure and things like that.
But what if they've been through like a horrible relationship with a past boyfriend or a past girlfriend? And
so they've been together 4 years.
So I know, but they should agree, I think, on what the punishment is, especially if that man has a history of like abusing kids or like really whooping them too hard or something. Like, you don't want your kids to be, my goodness. I mean, you want them to get in trouble, but you don't want them to be like abused or, really disrespected and made to feel low or less than. It would depend how the discipline is going to be or what it's going to be. We would have to agree. I mean, it could be tough and stern, but you ain't finna kill my kid.
Yeah, that's a good point. But in the letter, he's always been there for them, and he has proven unconditional love or whatever. But it does come time when they need discipline. But a whole separate conversation that I want to have outside of this on another day is what's the word? Damn it! I'll think of it. The
emasculating
the
men.
emasculation of men. It's a real problem in my family. Personally, I don't care who get mad. I said what I said. Emasculation in my family, from what I've seen, is real. And you get in these kids' lives. We'll do that another day. Let us know, because I'm gonna go in. And
it's so real though, Ricky. You hit on something so real.
Man, let me tell you something. Real. When I go in on this, all of them, they don't like me anyway. I don't care. But yeah. Let's go to the phone. I'm itching so bad to talk about because it's so close.
Go to the phone.
It's so close. It's so damn close. It's close.
Go to the phone.
I feel you, dog.
Let's go to the phones. 866.
Walk away.
9 Ricky. 866-9 Ricky. Good morning.
Well, yes. If they've been together for a total of 4 years and he's interacted with the kids and him and the girl are supposed to be on that level, then he should be able to discipline the kids. I'm sure he's not going to abuse them, but I mean, you know the difference between discipline and abuse. So if they need to be disciplined, cool, but if she's to the point like those are my kids, then he need to leave her ass and let them be her kids.
I think that if a man is taking care of those children, that he should be able to discipline them. One is because the respect level would not be the same if he's not allowed to discipline them. They would never respect him.
Hey, this is Sean from Baltimore, and one of the main reasons why I don't date women with kids. You're in like a lose-lose situation. You provide shelter for them, buy them things, but you're not allowed to discipline them, you know? So, that's my take on it.
Redirecting, yes. Some boys is very vulnerable at their age right now. And if you don't be putting your hands on nobody's kids. If you've been with her 4 years, you know you want to be with her and marry her. And then adopt them kids if they don't know they real daddy. But don't be putting your hands on those kids.
Yeah, okay, but what about the kid? Now, don't tell me no 7 and 11-year-old boys be swelling up at their mom and slamming doors when they get an attitude. What you mean?
Yeah, I think that you need to be disciplined.
Discipline does not always mean physical. Right. I'm a mother.
Right.
And I discipline my kids every day. Sometimes I see Mike disciplining the kids and I step back because I want to be a mom and coddle and do too much, but I will not emasculate my husband. I will let him have his place and stay in his lane.
Ricky put his in boot camp. Ricky put his in
let me tell you something. Hey, Eva.
Baby.
Eva,
the garage, Lord Jesus, Poe Craig, Lord. That day, I was like, oh, my God.
Brad used to call me and literally curse me out because she was so sensitive about my kids. She like, look, Rick, because see, I'll put you in the garage. Because you know what the garage is, Eva? The garage is 2 doors in the garage, one going out the house and one to get back in the house. And the garage door is right in between. You in the house, but you ain't in the house. And see, if you can't respect the house and respect having a bathroom, you can't keep your bathroom clean, room clean, or whatever. And then these kids start closing doors. They start occupying space. And I knock on my son's door. He's 19. I'm like, I just want to walk around in the square footage that I pay for. Right? Don't meet me at the door. Don't open up the door and
took my door off my hinge.
You must ain't watched Rickey Smiley for real.
He took
a door.
Malik 19, he just got his door back. I hung beads up. The bees that we walked through in the 70s when your mom and them being there smoking weed, like the bees were gonna stop the weed smoke from coming in your bedroom. What are you talking about? Well, when I tell you they slept many nights in a garage, all of them, every male that stayed in my house has spent nights in the garage, and then I put it right in front of the Cadillac. Then when I get ready to come to the radio station, I crank the car up and I open up the garage door and bag it out real slow. And then with the light shining on that blanket, I watch them try to cover up to rewarm because they got a heater right at the foot, and they're trying to get back warm because I let all that heat out when I bag the car out real slow because you got to let a Cadillac idle, and then you got to leave the garage door up so the carbon monoxide won't get in the garage to let it air out a little bit after you bag out. And then after you feel like enough air to got out of there, then you let the garage door back down, and then you change the passcode so they can't get in the house. And then you come back in and you put a cereal bowl and some milk and some Fruit Loops out there on the floor in the garage, and then you set them 3 canned goods, a can opener, and a little microwave out there, and like they're in prison. Because see, if you don't get your life together, you already going to prison. So let you see a little bit what prison feel like. But that next door is outside of the garage, and once you get outside of that door, you can't come back. And I got nieces and nephews I ain't seen in 4 and 5 years that I tried to raise that can't come back to my house at all. And some work their way back in, and some work their way back out, and their life went downhill. The ones that work their way back in, they gone out to college, they doing what they supposed to do, they respect and love the discipline, and it just don't work out with all of them. More talk show, more Phil Donahue coming up next.
The Richard Smiley Morning Show.
All right, y'all, Rick Smiley Morning Show. We having a real discussion this morning. I be trying to use a little bit of discretion. I really appreciate this conversation, and thank y'all for bringing this up. But for all the women out there that have allowed man, I first of all, I want to shout out my mama for whatever my mama went through when I was growing up with having sense enough to drop me off with Ernest and Maddie Smiley. Because when I tell you, my granddad had been dead 2 years now, I think about 2 years. My granddad, what's today's date?
February the
3rd of February.
Okay. February the 5th is granddaddy's birthday. My granddaddy would have been 93. And y'all knew my granddaddy. My granddaddy was my best friend. We had a joint bank account since I was 15. And I am so glad the things that my mama did to encourage the relationship with my granddaddy, my Uncle Bruce, and my Uncle Herbert. Kind of sensitive to talk about my Uncle Herbert because he's sick, got leukemia. That's my mama's older brother that was so nice to me. And one thing my mama did, man, if my mama ain't did nothing, she wasn't perfect. But one thing she did do, she encouraged the relationship that I had with my Uncle Bruce, my uncle. My mama had all brothers and my daddy had all brothers. My daddy had 3 brothers. My mama had 4 brothers. So I have all uncles and probably triple the amount of aunties, or all of them got divorced and got remarried or whatever. And real talk. But one thing my mama would be like, have you talked to your granddaddy today? No, man. Well, you need to get in there and call your granddaddy. Your granddaddy, you ain't talked to your granddaddy in a whole week, and he done been down here. He done helped get your school clothes. Don't you ever let 2 or 3 days go by and you don't call your granddad. You get on the phone and you call your granddad and see how you do. Have you talked to your Uncle Herbert? Have you talked to your Uncle Bruce? Yeah. Uncle Bruce only 6 years older than me. A college student playing football at Alabama. Send me a bus ticket to ride to Tuscaloosa to spend the weekend when they have a off week, to stay in the dormitory with the football players, and just all of that manhood and that love and encouragement and discipline that I got to be the man that I am today. But it took my mother encouraging the relationship and pushing me towards them. And what you have, and one of the things that's so disgusting, and it's so disgusting in my family, I can't tell you how many nieces and nephews that put through college, tried to raise, you don't hear from them until they need something or whatever. Then the mother always wants you when they have, and a lot of men can attest to this. They want you to, I really want you to be in their life. They don't have a father. They don't have anybody. Can you help us out? You go out, you help them, you buy school clothes, you try to spend time with them, try to be a good uncle or a good stepfather. And then they become envious of the relationship that you have with the kids, and they start to undermine and emasculate my family. I'm talking about, I've seen it time after time. I've had kids that were not even blood related, to do stuff like this, and they become real jealous of the relationship when it comes time to discipline, when it comes time to spend time, and they get jealous and envious of the relationship, but they only want you to buy clothes, and can you help out with college tuition? Can you buy them some books or whatever? Man, I got nieces and nephews that's off in college that I make sure that they have a roof over their head that you don't even hear from them. You understand? Well, we done furnish houses and apartments and move you here and get your hair done, get your hair twisted, get your hair braided. Nobody called. Not even a simple thank you. I really appreciate you. Hey, you need to get on the phone, call your Uncle Rickey, tell him you appreciate him. What's wrong with you? Why haven't you called your uncle? Your only source of manhood and unclehood that you got. And I promise to God, if I ain't on the phone with my Uncle Bruce and my Uncle Herbert at least every other day at this age, because I don't have a granddaddy anymore.
Yeah.
My Uncle Herbert is my everything. Helped me get my first boat. He the reason I drank Mountain Dews. Herbert Armour, my favorite uncle, took me to the lake. First person that took me on the ocean and on the water, take me fishing or whatever. And nothing that I have is good. I'm so loyal to them, Brett. You know how I am.
Yes, I know.
I'm so loyal to him. Uncle Bruce get on my nerve. He lived one neighborhood over. I talk to him every other day. How you feeling? You need anything? He called me last night. Hey, I just called you to see if you needed anything. No, do you need anything? I jumped straight up out of my chair when he called just to ask me, do I need anything? I jumped up and said, do you need anything? You know, just trying to be a respectful nephew. And he's only 6 years older than me, but I'm still respectful, still be like Bruce or Uncle Bruce or whatever. Just the respect is there. And what you have is a lot of women, they don't push the kids towards the men. You get mad at the football coach. You don't want the football coach to say nothing to him. Thank God for rest in peace, Coach Osley put his cowboy boot in my ass and kicked me up and down that field when I had to do duck walks, making a man out of me at playing Little League football at Tarrant. Mr. Greg Turner said, you need to come over here and go play Little League football, and that'll toughen you up a little bit because I was always up under my grandparents, and that changed my life. So I end up getting into sports where athletics just changed my whole life. But to have the emasculation of men is so terrible and it's so disrespectful, and I see it run rapid through families. I watch women, how they treat Little League football coaches that come out of their own pocket. They pay for kids. They pay for their uniforms. They buy them food because some of them be hungry. They don't have nothing. And you got to deal with all this attitude and why my son ain't playing and this, that, and the other. And these coaches don't get paid to do that. And sometimes it could be so disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? These girls need dads. You know, let the girls be around the men, and let the men sit down and develop a relationship with the girls and boys if they in a relationship with you, or if they trying to be a good, wonderful uncle. I'm only trying to be what my grandfather and my uncles was to me, to my nieces and nephews. But it don't work out all the time. But I was thanking God yesterday because I had tears in my eyes. I said, man, one thing about God, man, God is a God of restoration. Everything that you don't have and everything that that's been bad to you and been hurtful to you, God will replace it. Because, boy, when I tell you I got some nieces and nephews that's not even blood related to me, they'd be like, hey, Uncle Rickey, how you doing? Come over here. I got a brand new house. I went and looked at my mentee, one of my mentees, her and her husband, they young, they 30, they got a brand new house, and go over there and they walk me through their house and show me her little beauty shop down in the basement, and how proud and how loving, how respectful, because I know what a respectable relationship's supposed to be because I experienced that with them. So I know when something don't feel right and something is not right when you got your own blood that have absolutely no regard and no respect for you, and definitely undermine and be very disrespectful and very dismissive of what you're trying to give them. And it's wrong. And we need to take a second look at how we treat anybody, man or woman, that's trying to step up to the plate and do the right thing, and stop using people when you need things when it's convenient for you, and do the right thing and be respectful and encourage the relationship when somebody is going out of their way and doing things that they don't have to do. Nobody owes you nothing. Nobody have to do anything for you. Anything that somebody do for you and give to you, you should be thankful and have some humility and say, that's a blessing. God bless you. Here's a card. It don't cost $1.50. You can go to Target or Walmart and get a thank you card, or send a flower, or a nice text message, or take a picture of the kids. Good morning. We love you. We thinking about you, or whatever. Sometimes little stuff like that every now and then would just bless you and make your day and encourage you to continue to be in these kids' life. I got all kind of degrees on the walls downstairs where I'm educated and put kids through college. That's why I work so hard to do these comments. I don't want to make it just about me, but just the emasculation of men. There's a lot of good men. You can't sit up here and tell me, and you don't even hear the word deadbeat dad no more. When the last time you heard somebody say dead? Men are stepping up to the plate and becoming great, wonderful fathers, coaches, mentors to kids that don't have a father. A lot of these men dead. Some of them are in prison, and you have to set boundaries, and you have to lay down the rule to keep people from disrespecting you. But push these kids towards good men. Stop emasculating. Stop undermining and being disrespectful to somebody that's trying to help you. I see it a lot. I get all kind of letters and emails. I'm like, I know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly how you feel and what you're going through. You understand? So if you want to be have an Ernest Smiley in your life, or Ernest Lee Smiley in your life, push your kids towards him and encourage the relationship. But you can still manage it. Say, hey, babe, I don't know. Was that a little harsh? I'm just asking. Instead of pulling the kids back when you get mad at something or mad about something. So I just want to say, it's a lot of good men out here, or whatever, but don't emasculate and don't undermine good alpha males, because, man, a good alpha male is hard to come by, especially one that will give you your all and doing it from a sincere and genuine place. And that's all I want to say. I just needed to get that off my chest, because I see it a lot, and I get a lot of emails daily from men just about that. God bless you. I hope nobody was offended. I don't care if you're offended, because if you're offended, you must be doing it. So, but everybody else understand. So God bless you, and just keep pushing your kids towards good men. There it is, y'all. Rick Smiley Morning.